In the FX TV series Justified, criminal thug Boyd Crowder claimed he had turned to God while on a hospital bed. He had almost died after being shot by U.S. Marshal Raylan Givens, and the trauma changed his heart. For a while. In prison and after release, he set about preaching his version of the gospel to people broken by drugs and alcohol while dealing with the skepticism and opposition of his criminal family and Marshal Givens. In the end, it turned out that he was serious, but the pull of the world was too strong and he returned to his life of crime. Traumatic event conversions are common in the fictional world of TV and movies because they're common in real life. Desperate and fearful people reach out to anything for support and hope, sometimes even God. In fact, it's so common and often so fake that the skepticism is understandable. Yesterday, we saw David was at a low point because his family had been captured. And just when it seemed David had hit bottom, the floor dropped out from underneath him. His men were angry, and since he was the leader who put them in that situation, threatened to stone him, 1 Samuel 30, verses 1 through 6. In desperation, he did something he had skipped while working with the Philistines. He turned to God, 1 Samuel 30, verses 7 and 8. Finally, after many months of acting alone, David turned to his true source of hope and strength, Yahweh. Not only did he find strength in Yahweh, but he also found guidance. Instead of imposing his own ideas on God, David went to the priest and asked for God's direction. Specifically, he asked if he should pursue those who had raided their home. Think about that for a minute. David asked God if they should pursue the Amalekites who had raided their home and taken their families. How many of us would have bothered to ask, much less waited for God's answer? For most of us, the answer would be yes before David even finished the question. Of course we're going to pursue them, David. Why are you bothering to ask God? But David was determined to seek God's will on the matter first. And to add to their confusion, David asked if they would succeed. They probably assumed they would win, but David wanted to be prepared in case the situation got even worse. Thankfully, God answered yes to both. David asked before acting, and then obeyed God, who provided a favorable answer and complete success. 1 Samuel 30, verses 9 through 20. What about us? What do we do when we fail and fall because of our own bad decisions, or when the floor of our world collapses through no fault of our own? Do we only turn to God in times of desperation? If so, we better be obedient and stick with Him, even if it doesn't turn out as we hope. God doesn't promise to always say yes. Obedience to God is absolutely necessary for our soul's salvation, but it is not some magic elixir that solves all of our problems or makes everything perfect. We must not lie to people and make promises God has not made in His Word. That's why the better option is to seek His will now instead of waiting until we're desperate. Whatever your situation, now is the time to serve God. Reach out to me if you want to know more about how to serve God faithfully. In the meantime, thanks for watching Morning Minutes in the Bible. Until next time, this is James McClenny, hoping you have a great day.